Hi, welcome to Family and Fit, where we talk fitness and how to integrate it in your busy lifestyle. Last week we talked about combination movements and kind of why they're so important and how they have to be implemented into your workout. And if you're not doing combination movements, it's going to be tremendously difficult for you to be able to make progress in the gym. And I touched lightly on the topic of isolation movements. So the topic of this video is kind of an extension of that video. I might have a little bit of the same stuff in this video, but I'm going to try to primarily target on isolation movements and why they actually are important. I don't want to completely bash isolation movements, but I'm over a year into fitness. I've been working out like a year and 3 months now, and I almost never do isolation movements. If I do, I'm doing like maybe 5 sets out of like 30 to 50 sets that I do. I do a crap ton of sets. I do a crap ton of work in the gym. It'll be years and years and years before I get to the point where I don't do the least amount of effort that I need to make muscle gains. There's a word for that. I can't think of it at the moment, but yeah. So like there's a point where you have to put in so much work at the gym to see any results at all. And there's a max where after you put in so much work, you don't see any more results, and you can potentially even have negative results to muscle gain. But back to the topic, I believe that isolation movements have a few things that are very important about them, and make them still very important in fitness. And I think the biggest reason for using isolation movements is actually one of the least used tactics, and that is mind-muscle connection. It's the ability to feel a muscle and know the muscle you're targeting and feeling the burn in that muscle. And isolation movements are really freaking good for that, because when it comes to combination movements, let's just say lats, because they're kind of something that are hard to target. Lats are hard to target. Your chest is kind of hard to target. And these muscles that are harder to target, a lot of times you can use an isolation movement to like engage that muscle more. By engaging that muscle more, you are then able to feel it. You're able to feel the burn in it. You'll get that mind-muscle connection. You'll feel that, oh, okay, that's where the lats really are. That's what it feels like for the lats to fire. From there, when you go back into your combination movement, like a pull down, you know how to target that move better because you have established a better mind-muscle connection. And I believe mind-muscle connection is not necessarily long-term. It is 100% long-term. Like, you learn it over time and it becomes more natural over time. But it doesn't just come natural. You have to teach yourself mind-muscle connection. You can go in and do bench press, dumbbell press, pull downs, whatever it may be, for years and years and years and years, make huge amounts of muscle, and still never really establish a mind-muscle connection. You just keep moving the weights around, and you keep, lifting weights, lifting heavy, doing progressive overload, everything, all the things that you need to, to gain muscle, but you will not actually gain that mind-muscle connection. And I believe like one of the most important things with the mind-muscle connection thing is that you are able to target muscles that may be lagging. So say for instance, all my workouts mainly consist of combination movements. So if I notice my lats just aren't as wide, and I'm just want a little bit more growth there, like if I feel like that's my lagging body part, then I will, I will superset with like lat pull downs and then doing some lat isolation movements. And so a superset, you can kind of watch another video to find out what a superset is. Just a short thing is where you do like 2 or more workouts back to back, and you do 2 or more workouts back to back to either break down a muscle differently, break down a different muscle, or just kind of help you burn out. Most of the time for supersets, I would say those are to target something a little bit better. That's the primary advantage of a superset, is you can target a muscle And I have a program coming out called BFB, which stands for Big Biceps, and it also stands for Back for Biceps. And it's going to be all back exercises, no curls whatsoever, and it's just going to be to build bigger biceps using back type of movements, or combination movements, that is. So yeah, so isolation movements are tremendously helpful for the mind-muscle connection, and also leading into the second thing is they are good for using in supersets for really targeting a muscle that is kind of lagging, is something that you just really want to focus on, or if you just want to kind of switch it up and make a little bit extra gains in that area, because you're able to target that muscle a little bit better. So say for instance I've burnt out my biceps already and I want some more lat activation. What I'll do is start hitting supersets between the isolated lat movements and pull downs. Sometimes I'll wait till the end of the workout. It don't necessarily have to be in a superset. I just like the superset because it helps with mind-muscle connection at the same time. So that way I'm getting a better mind-muscle connection while I'm doing the pull down. And I think that in itself, the switching back and forth, helps with the mind-muscle connection more so than just focusing on the lats. Like I could do like, you know, all day just focusing on where my lats are at, but then next time you come in, it's still different. It's still a different mind-muscle connection, changing an isolated lat movement to a combination lat movement. It's still a different mind-muscle connection. You still have to make your muscles target a little bit differently. It's like, but it helps you get in the right area, the general area, and you're like, oh, no, that's not it. Nope, no, that's not it. And you keep pulling down with different angles, different elbow widths, and until you find that sweet spot where you're like, bam, that's it. And that's what I really like about, you know, using them as a mind-muscle connection, is the fact that, but you know when you hit it. Whenever you're doing the isolation movement right and you feel it in the right areas, whenever you're doing it in the combination movement, you'll feel it, and you're like, that's it, and you'll know it. And so yeah, it helps out a lot with that. But also for, you know, for the secondary reason, it's just being able to tear down a muscle a little bit further than what it would have been on a combination movement, especially if you have a lagging body part. But like, say for instance, the first 6 months that I've been working out, I did not have any trouble with biceps and bicep curls as far as being burnt out. They were my lagging body part. They probably are everybody's lagging body part when it comes to starting with pull-ups and stuff like that. So by doing that, I always had tore down biceps. I never ever did curls because my biceps would be demolished and my back would still feel like I needed to go. I didn't do any isolation movements to help tear down my back any further because I really want to establish a natural genetic look. I just want my body to look as true to my genetics as possible and not target any muscles that are not part of my genetics. Say for instance, by doing a crap ton of isolation movements, sure, you could have like no chest and just do nothing but tricep push downs and just that's all you ever do, and then have huge triceps and no chest. You could do that. I'm not really going for that look. Like I said in the last video, like the only thing that I would like to be a little bit unnatural is probably my shoulders and maybe my chest too. But other than that, I really don't want anything to look unnatural. I want my arms to be very symmetrical with my my chest and everything. I just want everything to be very symmetrical. My biceps with my back. I don't want to have huge biceps and small and huge back and small biceps, or vice versa. You know, I don't want that. But if you're doing combination movements and you're kind of doing them right, and you learn the mind-muscle connection, you'll never really have that problem, because mind-muscle connection will also help a lot with what muscle gets tore down. They do have their place. Isolation movements do have their place, but I really believe that way too many people are using them. I think way too many people are using isolation movements. I don't think there should be a day for isolation movements. I just don't. I do not think there should be a day. I think maybe implementing them into a combination day of like back or push or pull day, but I don't agree with the arms workout. I think those are advanced. They're more advanced They're just for advanced lifters. That's all I can say. Like, if you're being put on a, you know, like a chest, back, arms, legs day type of workout, and it's like your first or second year of working out, you're probably not on the right workout plan. You know, combination movements, that's all there is to it. That's what's going to gain you the best foundation. And then from there, maybe genetically, like I'm talking about with genetic, I want the best genetic potential for myself. Maybe genetically, I find out 2 years from now, like, I have shitty ass lats. It might be. I might just have, like, my lats just don't want to really grow. I mean, like, they look decent now. Not something I think I'm going to have a problem with, but it might come to that. I might actually, you know, have an issue with genetically my lats only get so big and they don't really want to get any bigger. So at that point, then I'll really start focusing on putting that isolation movement into that. But like I said, that's years down the road after my body has kind of reached its genetic potential, which you reach your genetic potential within, like, you know, within like 2 to 3 years. And let me say genetic potential. I'm actually using the wrong term with genetic potential, because that's more of like as big as you're going to get before you really just slow down. You get like a pound, 1 to 4 pounds a year of muscle. That's where you really slow down. But within 3 years, like, you've gained like as much muscle as you'll gain probably for the rest of your life. Like, the amount of muscle you built in 3 years, you'll never gain that much in probably the rest of your life. You can, but it's gonna be very hard naturally. Steroids, you know, there's really no limit to that. But naturally, you're not gonna get much huger than what you are after 3 years of lifting properly and with a nice knowledge base. I said that I've been working out for 1 year and 3 months, and I have been, but there's one little stigma that people may not think of and be like, well, wow, I've been working out that long and I'm not that big, maybe I just can't do it. It's not that. Whenever I went into fitness, I had been researching fitness and researching muscle growth and years, like at least 2 to 3 years. While I was in college, I also, outside of college, was researching fitness. I went to college for industrial tech stuff, and on my free time, I would consume so much fitness content, whether it be other YouTubers, whether it be documentation on the internet using like the college database or whatever it is to you know, gain scientific documentation. So I had a very good understanding of fitness and what I needed to do whenever I jumped into it. So when I jumped in the gym, I was looking around like, oh man, you know, like the first week, 2 months, you know, first 6 months really, you're like wanting to do this machine, that machine, this machine, that machine, and like jump around and bounce around. And I just told myself, no. Like the first day I was in there, I was like, no, we're not doing that. It's chest day. It's push day. We're doing push day. Be excited for the next day. Be excited for tomorrow for the pull day. And like, boom, oh yeah, I get to try those machines out, you know. I'm sorry to ramble on. I kind of just started diving into a bit of my brain and a bit of what was going on inside of my head, kind of with the fitness and with just everything. I'm probably going to be a little bit rambly in these videos, but I hope that it adds value to you guys, because I'm going to get deep into adding value and probably skew off the topic a little bit. And if I can divide some out into other videos, I will. If not, I might just add it into this video like I did here. And hopefully it's not too far off topic and you still enjoyed it. Let me know if I'm getting too far off topic and you would like the videos to be more about the title of the video, or if you like the kind of rambling on, because I like it personally, because it's like comes from the heart, comes from my brain, comes from what I initially thought. It comes from what the things that were really going through my head. And it's like whenever your brain starts working off the top, you have a lot better stuff. Like, it's like the beginning of these videos when I first start out, I'm like really dry, I'm like really like confused, I can't stay on top, can't stay on topic, I forget what I'm saying and whatnot, but when I get going like I am now, it's like I just kind of rant on for a bit of time, and I really love when I get into that stage. That's the part I love about doing the YouTube and YouTube videos, is whenever I can just expand on, even though if I get off topic, it's just that expansion there is where the depth is at. That's where the true content is at. The informational stuff is great, and that's it. The other part's informational, but this is the part that that really dives deep into my brain, if that's what you want to know, and what my thoughts are, and how I got to where I'm at, and how to get you to where you're at. You know, I hope y'all really enjoyed this content. I really try to do my best to make my quality content and try to add as much value to you guys. I'm actually more concerned with adding value to you guys than I am the quality of the content. I'd rather keep pushing content out that adds value than to have great cinematic stuff, which I'm working on in the background. You just don't see it because it's not good enough to be inside videos yet. Learning the new video editing software and whatnot. But yes, it's coming to you guys. The cinematic stuff will be coming to you. Right now I'm just doing stuff like here in my office, and it was kind of bland a little bit, but hopefully the value that it adds to you guys is worth it. Hopefully y'all stick around. Hopefully you like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and all them other platforms and stuff. And I just really want you to grow and be the best version of yourself. And I'll catch y'all on the next video. Oh! What? Peace out.